What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve Natto. I want to thank you guys all for stopping by the video today. I really do appreciate it. As you can see, the topic of the video today is the Air Jordan 11 Low Concord Bred, the brand new release from Jordan Brand, which did officially drop earlier this morning on June 27th for a retail price of $185. And as always with the channel here, I just want to help you guys break down the newly released sneakers and hopefully give you guys an opinion one way or another if this shoe is right for you. So if I helped you guys out today, let me know in the comments down below and be sure to hit that subscribe button. But as you can see for the shoe, it's pretty simple and straightforward in terms of the silhouette and colorway here. It is called the Concord Bred because the upper is pretty much the Concord Jordan 11 and the outsole is the Bred Jordan 11. So they combine the two, combine the name and put it on an Air Jordan 11 Low, and we got this shoe. So I'll be honest, when I first saw pictures of it, I wasn't too crazy about it. I'm not a huge fan when they kind of mix with colorways, but I thought this one ended up looking pretty good in hand. So, check them out and seeing what they actually look like. I am impressed. I do like them, and I think they're a really, really good shoe for the summer. So we'll break that down. I'll let you guys know exactly why I feel that way, and we'll take a look at them on feet to get a few different styling options to see, how they look when you actually wear them. So if you guys have any questions along the way, just let me know in the comments down below. And one other thing I'll mention, if you guys have any more specific questions or just want more information on sneakers in general, be sure to check the links in my description down below. I've actually gone and created a Discord server for you guys. I got a lot of feedback about that, and I went and curated something with a lot of free information in there, a way to chat with me, chat with others. But go check those links in the description down below, and you guys can, check that out down there. But, I think we'll cut the talking now. We finally covered, the intro of this video here. So let's go and start checking out the Air Jordan 11 Low Concord Bred. And here we are now up close with the sneakers. So before we dive into them, as always, I do like to show you guys the box. And here, this is just your kind of classic black and gray Jordan Retro box. So on the size tag, when we zoom in here, we got Air Jordan 11 Retro Low in white, University Red, and black. Again, for that retail price of $185 that I mentioned. On the front of the box, you got the Nike Air logo in the top right. And then on top of the box, you got the Air Jordan logo right up there in white and red. But now onto the sneakers. Again, like I mentioned, combining the Concord colorway and the Bred 11 colorway into one Jordan 11 Low creates this Concord Bred Jordan 11 Low. So kind of a tongue twister there, but that's pretty much what we got. And it stays pretty true to the materials and what we, expect on those sneakers. So if we start taking a dive into it, if you really only focus on the midsole and outsole, this basically is just the Bred 11. As you can see, it's the Jordan 11 silhouette, just in low form. And then, you got that red for the bottom in all the same styling. And then as you move on to the upper, of course, you got that classic patent leather in black running all along the bottom of the lateral side here. And then as we move up a little bit further on the sneaker, it transitions to this nice white leather, which is, from the Concord 11. And in terms of the colorway and the styling, that's what you see from kind of the midway point up. So that's how they break down the sneaker. The only kind of differences here are on the tongue. You see white laces, and then you got the red Jumpman in between, but then you finish up with the rest of the white tongue. There are a few other differences, which we'll check out as we go throughout the sneaker, but that is gonna round out the lateral side. Next, we can move to the front view of the sneakers. So of course, again, from kind of the bottom down, you're taking a look at what would be the Bred 11. So at the very top of the toe, you got red sticking out, connecting to that patent leather toe box. And then as we move further up the tongue and the rest of the sneaker, again, you got these white rope laces. You got this white leather running up the tongue. You got the Jumpman logo in the middle, classic to that Jordan 11 styling. It is red there on both sneakers in the middle. And then you move further up the tongue, you got the rest of the lacing, the eyelets there, and then the rest of this leather tongue towards the top. Onto the medial side now, nothing really changes too much. It just keeps consistent with the colorways that I mentioned before. The only thing to really check out here is that carbon fiber hit underneath. So I know you guys like to take a look at that to kind of compare pairs and whatnot for legit checks and things like that. So there's a clear shot of that carbon fiber underneath. And then the rest of the midsole is just white. We move up to then that Concord styling above with the patent leather and then the white up top, all connecting through basically the same at what we looked at on the other side. Next up, moving to the back heel, you can see this low profile of the Air Jordan 11 Low, again, split between the colorways and, pieces of the Jordan 11 Low here. So you can see from the bottom, you got the Bred going up to the Concord, and then you got the Air Jordan logo stitched on in black, and then you have the 23 on the back of the heel written in red. It is the same on both sneakers. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of quality control issue. You guys probably see that when comparing the Jumpman. This one is pretty sloppy, in all honesty. compared to this one here. This is a pair, purchased from Champs. So, no questions there. It's just the quality control from Jordan. We've seen things like that before. It is a shame. I guess it kind of happens, but this pair, I guess, took effect. But otherwise, that's basically how it looks from the back heel. Next up, moving overhead. Obviously, the classic look of the Air Jordan 11 as you would kind of look down at your feet. But then as we zoom in further and take a look inside the sneaker, you can see the black inner lining. You got this red Jumpman printed on both insoles. And then the back of the tongue is black as well. And then you have the classic Jordan 11 patch under there, the quality basketball products inspired by the greatest player ever, written in white with the red Jumpman underneath. It is the same on both tongues there. And then as we move a little bit further inside the shoes, we can take a look at that size tag. So again, going to be a little difficult to see, but if we move it back, there's most of the size tag there for comparison on the numbers and information. And lastly here, we have a look at the iconic Air Jordan 11 outsole. So a really nice, cool design. We have that carbon fiber that I mentioned before. Otherwise, we have that herringbone traction in black towards the heel and the front of the toe there, and then the rest of the outsole is in red. You got the Jumpman underneath. Here's another look at that carbon fiber on both sneakers, but otherwise the classic iconic look at the Air Jordan 11 outsole. And finally now, since we have wrapped up taking an up-close look at the sneakers, it's time to get them laced up, and I'll show you guys what they look like on feet. And now there we have it for a few different looks at the Air Jordan 11 Low Concord Bred on feet. So I think there's a lot to unpack here in terms of the Air Jordan 11 Low and this specific colorway here, the Concord Bred. So let's start getting into it and talking about what I'm, thinking here. So in terms of the comfort, sizing, and fit, I do want to address that first. That's probably one of the most popular questions that I get asked, especially about the Air Jordan 11 and Air Jordan 11 Low. So we'll get into that. In terms of the sizing, I do recommend going true to size. This is, pretty standard. I do have some more information on sizing in that Discord that I explained below. The link is in the description down below, but you guys can feel free to check that out. I actually put some information on sizing recommendations based on all the sneakers that I talk about on the channel here, so feel free to check that out. But in general here, I do recommend going true to size. It's honestly a pretty comfortable shoe at the end of the day when, as far as retros go. In my opinion, the Air Jordan 11 and Air Jordan 11 Low are one of the more comfier retros out there. Right out of the box, they're pretty nice, and then as you break them in, I think they just get even better. So highly recommend the silhouette, for sure. I think it's really good. The price point is really not too much of an issue for me. You could always want for the lower price points, but for Jordan, 185, it's not any higher than really it should be compared to what else they put out. So no problem there in my eyes. But in terms of this colorway here, I do want to address that next. I mentioned earlier that I'm not a huge fan of how or when they mix colorways. So obviously we have the Concord and the Bred, and I feel like this one came out pretty decent. But for me personally, I feel like after seeing them on feet, thinking about it a little bit more, I'm not as crazy about it as I originally thought. So I don't think they're bad at all. They're just maybe not as good as I had expected personally. But I'd like to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Definitely let me know what you guys think. It's still a really good shoe. I love the Air Jordan 11 and the Air Jordan 11 Low, and I think still this shoe is going to be an amazing shoe for the summer. 11 Lows are just so wearable, especially with shorts and whatever you're looking to pair it with. It just works for the summer. This one is so clean too. Both of these colorways are insanely clean, so iconic. So this is a perfect time for this shoe to come out, and great shoe for the summer. So I think it's an awesome recommendation. If you guys are looking for a low top Jordan that you're interested in getting for the summer, this would definitely be towards the top of the list. But I think to round it out here, I do want to give you guys my final rating and opinion on a scale out of 10, like we always do here. So for this shoe, for my personal opinion, I am going to go an 8 out of 10 on these, just because I'm not as crazy about the colorway as I had, hoped. I feel like it still does look really good. I love Air Jordan 11s and Air Jordan 11 Lows, so still not a bad shoe at all. I just don't think it's quite as good as I had hoped, but still a really good shoe all around. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that subscribe button as well if I helped you guys out, during this video, and let me know your thoughts. Other than that, be sure to check the links in the description like I mentioned before, but I think that is going to wrap it up. I think we finally covered everything here. So thank you one final time for joining me on this video today, and I look forward to catching you guys again real soon on the next video.